Yeah, turn it on. Good morning. I'm Dwight Fenton. I chair Department of Public Works. Would you please join me in a pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Fanton?
Here.
Mr. Demick?
Here.
Mr. Barnes?
Present.
Mr. Curran?
Here.
Mr. Healy?
Here.
Mr. Stockin? And Mr. Harris. 6 present.
Thank you. Could I get a motion for the approval of the minutes for May 7th of 2025, please?
Healy will move it.
Thank you. Get a second?
Curran, second.
Thank you. Any additions or corrections? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? They are approved. Mike from Hunt is here. The Hunt Engineering is going to do a little show for our new building project. Would you come ahead, Mike, and we'll get rolling. As noted, we're going to take a recess once we get through this, and we'll finish the board minutes or the DPW meeting after our last meeting this afternoon. So go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mike Salabane with Hunt Engineers. I'm a project manager. We've been working with the county for about 2 years now, when we started with the building condition survey with all your properties, and that transitioned into the space study, which we presented to this body last year. And thus now we're on to the DPW facility. With me I have Alexis and Jean. They're our architectural designer and architect that's been working on the project. So it's been a good project so far. We have a presentation, just a short presentation, just to kind of show what the new building is going to be like, and kind of like how we got here. You want to get that pulled up? So some of the slides that you're going to see in the presentation, we printed out for you so that they was larger and that you can see them a little bit easier. And certainly during this process, if you want to interrupt me and have comments or questions, feel free.
Look at all we could learn today.
That looks familiar. Okay, Allegheny Department of Public Works proposed facility. Before we get into what we're proposing, we thought we'd kind of take a look back at why we're here. So on the screen is the existing South Branch facility, which currently houses the DPW. Consists of mostly 5 buildings, a lot of lay-down space. 2 years ago, we did a building condition survey on this as well. Each building. At that time, the recommendations equaled about $4 million back in 2022. Next slide, please. Maybe I got a better line of sight for it. We just wanted to show you some photos of the existing buildings. This is the existing repair shop here. Doesn't want to cooperate with us, does it? More photos of the existing repair shop. Again, this is basically the maintenance facility for the DPW department. You can see it's in pretty good disarray. Some interior photos. Again, this was all surveyed by our engineers and architects about 2 years ago. You can see some of the bathrooms aren't ADA. They're just dated. They're just dated buildings, you know, like a lot of counties, a lot of towns. Tire shop and garage. Material storage. Vehicle storage. That's the existing science shop building. Okay. I think this is going on its own because I haven't touched anything. So it might go off of that. So some of the things that we came up with, like why you want a new DPW, why it's time for a new DPW complex, is to address program needs, right? Obviously, the program needs now are a lot different back when those buildings were built 40, 50 years ago. Safe working environment. We want to improve the working environment for your workers. Energy efficiency. We want the operation of the building to cost you less year in, year out. We want to meet current codes and ADA requirements. Right? Those have changed since those buildings were constructed. We want them to be durable and low maintenance. Again, that kind of goes on with the energy efficiency, just the cost of the building year in, year out. You want to have up-to-date technology and modern amenities. Improve worker efficiency for your county workers, right? Get more out of them every day. And you want them to be happy. I'm sure you could probably add another 10 reasons why you would want to have a new facility. Those are just a few. So this is the proposed site. This is the Friendship site on the S-curves. This is the first page of your printed drawings. And so what we're proposing here is if we start at the bottom right, the largest building on site is the new office building and maintenance shop with associated parking lots. And then we have 3 outbuildings, one for large truck storage, one for small truck storage, and one for miscellaneous like lawn equipment, tires, things like that. And then you'll see there's 3 other boxes, and those boxes aren't buildings. Those represent just racking or lay down space. Okay, so really though, there's 3 outbuildings, 1 main building, and then right to the left of the main building, that's a fuel island. That's basically for fueling up your trucks, your equipment, stuff like that. This is the floor plan. This is the next page on your in your pamphlet. This is the proposed floor plan for the business section, for the business offices and the shop. So basically, the right-hand side is all your administration, your offices, your conference rooms, your training rooms, any associated spaces with that, toilet rooms, map storage, stuff like that. And then everything to the left, you can kind of see a a vertical corridor there. Everything to the left of that is more shop oriented, okay? Basically supports your sign shop, welding, maintenance, tire changing, part storage, and then offices that relate to those those tasks as well. Okay. And I'll come back to this for questions. We'll kind of just get through and then we'll be able to come back for it. These are just exterior elevations of what the building looks like. So you can see the lower part of the building that's like your office space, your more business administration part of it, and then your higher area. That's where your your equipment and your truck maintenance resides. The half of that building also has a second floor mezzanine for HVAC equipment and also for tire storage and miscellaneous storage as well. And there's just a rendering of what the building would look like. So basically the main entrance to the building is right there in the middle with that higher portion there. To the right of it is the business part of it, and then to the left and further back is your shop base and maintenance base. That's another angle on the back side of it, and that shows the access to the training room that we have on here. And there's been talk about, that training space could be used by other departments in the county. It could be used by local towns. It could be used by anyone you want to be able to use it, because we designed it so that it's kind of sectioned off from everything else. All right, it could be used after hours, and they wouldn't have access to the rest of the building. And that's a shot from the back. We're proposing having an outdoor area for county employees to be able to have their lunch and maybe take a break. And then you can also see it's a loading area. We were proposing a loading dock. We took that away, and now we have a loading area, which we feel it works better and it's a lot safer. And that's the final side there. So that final part of it, you can see it's open. That's for the tractor trailers, the low boys. So that's parking for them, and that'll have a door on the front. So the grounds will be completely secure with a fence and gates, and obviously, in the building will actually act as a barrier as well. And then the fuel island would be towards us in that view. Yes? Oh, sorry, sure will. And that's just kind of coming around the building. Same area, low boy area, the maintenance and storage bays, and then the office area in the distance. That's about it. We can talk about just about anything you want. I just wanted to give you kind of an idea of what we were doing, what we've done in the past, and where we're at now. So fire away. If you need to see another, if you want me to pull up a specific slide, I'm happy to do that as well. Yes?
When you show the training room, and you say it could be blocked off, but there's no access to the bathrooms.
I believe there is. I believe.
Well, you'd have to go into the building, though.
Yes, but
Okay,
part
so-
of the building is blocked off.
It would be.
From everything else.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Yes. Yep. You're welcome.
Got other questions, I just wanted to be here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else?
Yeah, and there's actually, the bathrooms are right across the hall from the training room. So you come in the door in the hallway, and we have separate doors that would be locked down, so they would have access to the bathrooms, to the break room, and the training room. So
How many, would that seat, how many people would that seat in the training
Hold
room?
on. Can Can we get that presentation put back on the screen? I'm sorry, sir, what was that question?
How many could you seat in the training room?
50.
Looks
Yeah.
rather large.
I think we said 50. Right? Yep, 50. Give or take. 50 comfortable.
And parking, what are we going to do?
That showed on the aerial photo, or on the cover sheet, you can see parking to
How
the
many-
right of the building.
How many parking spots? Is that all? Or is there going to be more?
That's all. That's 54 spots.
Okay.
This thing doesn't like to work.
Probably just the overview, Brenda, the front one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, what's the proposed cost of this, the new facility?
Sure. Sorry about that. Okay, so, construction cost, total construction cost is, about 22 million, okay? So 22 million includes your four, we're proposing, 4 prime contracts, okay? GC, mechanical, plumbing, and electrical, fire protection with the plumbing, and technology with the electrical. So the 4 prime contracts, furniture, and in this estimate, we have the large truck storage building. That's a fabric structure. The county would like to have a fabric structure for that, so that's going to be separate. It's going to be down the road if money allows. So if we include all that, that's 22 million.
This is, how much more than the original proposal was? The original proposal to rebuild in place,
Friendship,
yeah.
God, I think Friendship was maybe 5. Yeah, I'd say 5 million maybe. 5 million in Friendship.
And that was just a rehab? Or was that?
No, that was a building. Smaller, but that was a building.
It's attached to a current
No, it was a separate building on an existing site. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bare bones thing that basically you're going to have to deal with a lot of stuff besides that, as I remember that proposal. It wasn't-
Yeah.
It wasn't just it was a $5 million project. The
That-
design and all the rest of it really hadn't gone into it like we've done with this one. I mean,
Exactly.
and the needs. It was
Yeah.
just a kind of a throw-together thing, I think, as I remember it. It's, I wasn't impressed with it, but,
Yeah, we, that grew quite a bit as we, the more we talked with Justin and stuff. I think it was intended to be a $5 million project, but when it was all said, we never bid it, so we never knew exactly what it was. But it was probably north of the 5 million. Yeah.
I have a question, Chairman. So you said the construction cost is 22 million, and
Yeah.
then you talked about, and it's another 22 million, the additional costs down the road for another part, or was that just one
No,
part?
no, I'm
Okay.
sorry, the cost was 22 million.
Okay.
In that 22 million is $1 million for the large truck building that's a fabric structure.
Oh, that's what's in it.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
yeah, the other thing I recall about that particular site was when we really got to looking at it, that was inappropriate for what we were going to do. I mean,
Yeah.
the site didn't fit the building because of the grade of the land itself. So that number was thrown out there, but that's why we ended up doing away with that particular one, is because there were so many issues that were not being able to be addressed at that area, so,
Yeah.
all right.
A lot of issues just with the site itself. Boy. So, and no room for expansion either.
Correct, yep.
One way in.
Yep. And keep in mind, that was before COVID.
Right.
We've had, it's a different world after that in terms of construction costs. Just to kind of put in a little bit of context, Town of Lansing decided to build a DPW facility, and they just bid that a month ago. And that cost came in at 16 million.
Is that Tompkins County?
That's Tompkins County, correct, yep. 16 million. Yep, 16 million. And that's just that's just going off of what I can see. I reached out to a local contractor and he gave me some of the numbers that he had bid, and I got a bid tab. I don't know the other costs like controls and stuff like that. That's gonna inflate that cost, but what I could see was it was 16 million.
Remind me, what was our plan then for the Friendship site, the existing site? Would we sell that, or, I mean, how does that play into things?
I'll let Tom answer that. It's,
No, it's a good question. The plan would be to move D3 from Angelica into that space. Yeah, we want to keep the main shop, do some obvious code compliance fixes on it, and then tear down the other structures that are not worthy to keep.
So then what would you do to the Angelica site?
That would be up to discussion. There's been other talks of possible other entities going in there. So, yeah. Correct.
So 22 million is construction costs. What other costs are going to be involved in this? Engineering, seeker, and all that type of stuff?
You're
So
gonna have-
total cost for this,
You're gonna have inspections, special inspections, inspector. We wanna make sure we have oversight in this project. We don't want another jail. We want somebody there every day overseeing construction to make sure it's built to what we want. So that's gonna be added to that.
okay?
I think all of that all in, you're around 28 million, Mike?
Yeah. So if how we generally set up a project, you take your construction costs, what you
29.
feel. Oh, I'm sorry. How we generally set up a project, we take our construction costs, our estimate, we include a 10% contingency, okay? That way we're protected through the life of the project. And then at this point, we include incidentals. So the incidentals is basically just what Tom said. It's architects' fees, construction managers, attorneys, bond counsel, all that stuff that you have to do a project. And so for this project, I estimated 18%. That's probably going to be high, okay? But that's okay, because keep in mind, when it comes to construction contingency and incidentals, if you don't use it, you don't use it. It's just you put it in you make it construction costs if you want to add construction, or you just don't borrow that, okay? So when I did that exercise, we're at 28,800,000.
So you could round it up to 30 and
Yeah.
be good.
Yep.
Another question. We talked about our transportation, our buses, and sharing fuel farm, I guess that's what they call it. How is that planned into the location for this, or is it not, or is that, we're not going forward with that?
well, there's room out there for it. I asked that question the other day, and there's room there for it, but we don't know where that process is in limbo as far as
But
we
there's
know.
room there for it.
Yes,
to
there is,
move
and they would
ahead.
use the driveway, and it would just continue on out
Yeah.
to the back lot.
That was my point, that there was forward thinking, there's room for that if
Yeah.
it comes to fruition.
Yeah,
We
Chris,
we have the grant award, but we don't, that's kind of in limbo on how we get that award and how we plan that process. When we first went out for that grant, the hope would be that those two buildings would be built simultaneously, so you could do a lot of that all at once, but it's not we're not gonna have that money in hand and that planning in hand to do it that way. So there's space there, the plan is that we would have that out there. My only comment on the cost is we're good on water. I am still a little fuzzy where we are on septic versus package plant, and if that's additional costs that we need to plan on top of what we just talked about.
If I may.
Sure.
I know Mike gave you an estimate for on-site, but I don't know if you've talked to Brian and Tim. What they told me was that site conditions, soils weren't conducive for an on-site system, and given the, what we put out, we're gonna have to have the sewage treatment plant. We talked about it a couple months ago, or last month as well. The sewage treatment plant is tied to this. It is. So, and that That estimate's about 3.5 to 4 million for the sewage treatment plant.
Well,
It could be used by others as well, but yeah, that was.
And I
that's
was
time.
on your call, the call last week, so I heard that. That's why I wanted to make sure.
Yes.
We got a plan for that on top of the money we just
That's
talked about.
correct.
And we need that all the way around out there.
Correct.
So will that sewage plant is different than the package plant? It's the
Nope.
same thing?
Yeah.
So this will work for the hotel and
It'll work
all
for the
that other
hotel,
development
It'll
out
work for
there?
transportation, it'll work for all the development out there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep,
That'd be basically a public system,
correct,
right? So it'd be open to the public for development too.
correct.
I guess this is for you, Tom.
You bet.
You've gone over, these drawings are up to date.
That's
Basically
correct.
right where you want them.
That's correct.
Because my concern on any project is all the change orders that come down the road, which nickel and dime us to death.
Absolutely.
So you're good. You're looking, no change orders.
We've
from this-
gone through
At
it,
this point.
yeah, top to bottom. The only thing at this point in time, we do have to send it to codes. So he will do a full code review. And that, Mike has worked that into the schedule to make sure we have the code review back, make those changes before we even go out and bid. So that way we're bidding what's approved by codes, so we can build it to that. So it should limit the amount of change orders.
Thank you.
It should.
So when you talk about sewage and it being available to the public, so we need a sewer district established? And that
At
takes...
some point in time, if you open it up to others, yes. But if it's just for us
If
at
it's
the
just for
beginning,
me.
then we
Because I
can,
know that
we can build it and move
takes
forward.
time.
Which we have started the process for both water and sewer.
Yes, we started the water and the sewer district, and we've been talking to outside counsel that specializes in that, as well as the financing of water and sewer districts, and they were actually the ones that helped us on our previous water district. So that's a longer-term project that takes a lot of time. It takes comptroller approval to do, but we are working on that.
And then, of course, my biggest question is, how are we paying for this?
More than likely, the recommendation is going to be financing the whole thing. And, you know, you really need to talk about how you want to do that. You need to probably have Public Works refer this to Ways and Means for that discussion. In talking to our treasurer, it really sounds like there's, a way to not go right out to bond, but to do a ban and pay interest only for a few years, because keep in mind, you have 2 bond payments. Really, a third bond payment would not be a good thing right now. And try to have the first bond payment on this at least hit the same year that the jail bond payment comes off. But you really need to talk about all that. It is going to consume most of your budget. So I would ask that Public Works refer this to Ways and Means for that schedule. And keep in mind the timeline on if you're going out for borrowing is not a quick turnaround. It's not like you do it and you go get the money next week. It's going to take a couple of months. So there is money in a capital account for this right now. We put aside $1 million, and you did pass a resolution saying that could be applied back to a bond if you ever do borrow. That could be covered in there. And I think there's right around $500,000 left in it right now. So we've used some for engaging with Hunt to do all of this work for us. And these are, to Mr. Bassett's point, these are great plans. Tom has done a very thorough job going over them. I was out with Tom up to the Hunt offices 2 weeks ago to do the final page turn and go over everything, every little minute detail. They did a great job doing the plans.
I just have one more question. So the procedure is, do we bid it first and then figure out how to bond it? Or do we have to go out for the bond first but we don't know really for sure how much it's going to cost?
I haven't ever borrowed before, so I would defer to people in this room. I know Terry's been through it, and I think maybe a couple board members have too, what you normally do for that process.
Question? I got a separate question unless you're ready to move
I was
on.
going to answer Jan's
Yeah,
question.
okay.
As far as borrowing, you really have to wait till you get an estimate to be able to do it. And then there's a lot to it. It will take 2 minimum months, if not longer than that. And it's, you guys have to decide what you want to do to finance that, how you're going to want to do it.
But we need,
Banning and borrowing is really the same thing. Banning and long-term bonding is the same thing. Ban is just where you borrow for a short term and you can pay the interest and not the entire principal on it until you long-term bond that. But that is a process in itself, so.
And maybe some people don't, ban is a bond anticipation note, and it's gonna be tied to the bond, so. we Just throwing around an acronym, I wanted to make sure everybody knew what it was.
So Chris, you probably said, but when does the jail bond come off the books?
2029, and then I think the courthouse bond comes off in 2032, yeah.
Well, I have every confidence in the county treasurer to keep us on track with all the financial matters. I got a question going back to the infrastructure. So we got natural gas available, right, which is a big plus.
Correct.
And that has some timeliness to getting that done also. And we have enough electric there,
3 phases right there, right along the boundary.
so it's all good. Thank you.
I have a question. Wash bay?
So the last bay before the truck storage outside lean-to is going to be a quasi weld shop, wash bay, and once, well, propane buses are here, we need a space to maintain those propane buses. So in the interim, we can use that bay because we made sure that we have gas detection in there, we have explosion-proof fixtures in there, and no heat source. So we'd be able to maintain a bus in there, get it inspected. So we've kind of used that bay as that. That is correct. There's no electric in that room. We actually have a pass-through for the weld connections through the wall, so we can keep everything separate.
Wait, maybe, I'm sorry, Chairman Fanton, maybe if we could have them put the timeline out of what they're thinking on this, that might be helpful to the committee.
I was going to ask Mike to do that,
Sure
so that's
thing.
perfect time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So June 4th, we present to you, so we're there. We were planning, our team is going to be done with contract documents this Friday, but we're going to submit it. We were planning on submitting it to the state this Friday. David's on vacation for a week, so we're pushing everything back a week. So it goes to David a week and a half from today. He has it for a month. And then he'll review everything. If he has comments, any kind of revisions, that'll come back to our team, and we'll make those comments. And then we'll, once everything is taken care of, we'll look to put that out to bid. As of right now, we have a date of, it'd be July 17th to put that out to bid. Okay? And that'll go out for 5 weeks. And that puts us, I believe, August 20. I'm trying to do the math in my head because this was before David. I knew David was taking a week off. I think bid opening is August 23rd, right around there. So that's when we open the 4 prime contract bids, and then you'll know what we're looking at in terms of a construction cost. Shortly after that, we'll look to hire a construction manager. Okay, the county wants to secure a construction manager. The reason we've waited is, first of all, we thought we could save some money by not including them in the design process. Usually they're part of the design process. They estimate and stuff like that, but what we did is we gave it out to another estimator to try to save some money there. So now, and there's some GCs that want to bid on the project that if they don't win, they'll make good construction managers. And so they have interest in that. So once we have our bids, we'll see who those people are, and we'll reach out to them and see if they'll give us a proposal for construction management. So we're going to try to push that right away. So shortly after the bid opening, we'll try to do that. We'll look to come back here September 3rd with a recommendation to award contracts. And then hopefully in October, that'll pass through the full legislature, and we can get contracts executed and start mobilization and start construction October, November. It's about a 18-month construction period. So we're looking at substantial completion mid 2027. And then final completion the end of 2027.
My only
Okay, and-
concern, and I'm sorry, is that once you bid and you receive, bid date closes and you've got those in, those bids are only good for so long, correct? So you, as a board, you need to decide if you're all in or not within that time frame, and even back it up a little so that you can get the MOEs together to come and get a resolution approving those contracts. So that's the only thing that, I really just kind of, and there's not really a way around that because bids have an end date, and by law, they stay open for only so long. So we just got to be ready to act quickly, and you probably won't have your financing finished. You'll be just probably starting it at that point in time because it does take a while. But at least you will have committed in your minds to doing that, because I really don't think the county attorney is going to want you to start entering into contracts if you haven't figured out your ability to pay them yet. So those are my only cautions. Is it's going to be crunched, and you just have to be ready to act.
Mr. Chairman. If October is our time frame to award bids after review, does that cover us if we make a commitment to get us out of the no gas and all electric facility as far as the first of the year?
Yes, yeah, because they're going off a building permit. So we're going to have our building permit in 5 weeks. So we're covered after that.
All right, that's an important aspect.
To explain that, I guess it's after, is it January?
It is. Yep,
Anything
January
after
1.
January has to be total electric, no natural gas in a facility.
Yeah, they're not allowing
So-
you to install new gas meters.
Yeah, so that's, but this would qualify us to still get natural gas because of the time frame.
Correct.
I have another question back on the bonding. Do we have the flexibility when that is done to either have the equal payments or front-loaded or back-loaded?
Yeah, we usually go for the 25 or 30 years and have equal payments. That's what we've done in the past.
Yeah, Jan?
So can we realistically have this financing in place? Because once they start construction, somebody's going to want to start getting paid. So is this a realistic timeline?
Want the truth or the half-truth? I'm not convinced it is. Myself, I'm not convinced, knowing the workload that we have in the office right now and going out to borrow and writing an official statement and doing all that. I can't imagine that that's going to be in place by October. We have an $8 million bond resolution on the books already. But we've got to talk to bond counsel about borrowing against that and seeing if we could get some of that early, because that, we've already gone through the steps to do that. But we have not initiated anything on that, so, we'd have to decide what direction you want to go. And we talked to bond counsel when we were at finance school, so we have a good connection there. We've let him know what the deal is and where we are with what we're, what the goals are, but we have not finalized any of that yet.
I believe usually when you go out to bond, does bond counsel come here or provide advice to the board on those things? I know reading past minutes, it seems like they have. But maybe those bonds were more complicated too.
I remember them coming occasionally, but normally they do not make a presence here. It's all done virtually right now. They will come down if you need them to come down, but normally it's all done virtually.
Dwight, if we could, if it's just bond questions now,
Yeah.
maybe we'll break.
What I'm
others?
thinking is that these are all things that are going to have to be dealt with at Ways and Means, correct?
Yes, but
I mean-
I think, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were looking for three things, really. One is approval of this plan is going forward.
Correct.
2 would be approval to go out for bid.
Correct.
And 3 would be approval to get the permit, correct?
That's correct.
So
Correct.
I think that's what you were looking
that-
at, was in relation to this.
Right, so that's why I figured, won't even ask those questions until we reconvene at the end of everything.
Well, I have another appointment, so I'll miss that. So I wanted to make sure we got those three in there.
Sounds good.
Okay, if nobody has any questions anymore for Mike, Mike, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for your work on this, and so I appreciate it. We'll be getting back to you. And so what I'd like is a motion to wait until after our last meeting, to continue within this process. So if we could get a motion to recess, I appreciate it.
Denrick will make a motion to recess.
Helio, second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.